back. On Expert Speak today, we take up a peculiar case of a home loan borrower getting overcharged by their lender. In a case study shared with us, a home loan borrower claims that for the first EMI he paid to his lender to kickstart the loan disbursement, the bank charged the individual for the full month instead of calculating it on a pro rata basis. So while the interest calculated for his first EMI should have been for just a fortnight, which was the gap period between the date of loan disbursement and the date of the first EMI payment, the consumer was instead charged for the full month. Effectively, the consumer ended up paying some 0.4% of the loan amount unknowingly. We have an industry expert, Mr. Harsh Rungta of apnapaisa.com, who has studied this case. Mr. Rungta, welcome to the Property Show. First up, is this a one-off incident of an error by a bank, or is this an institutionalized practice by home loan lenders?
See, clearly it is definitely not a practice across the industry. I think that is clearly confirmed. I've done a checking. Even within this lender, I mean, only an investigation can show a detailed investigation, which obviously only probably a regulator can do. Only that can show whether it is a very widespread practice or it is a localized practice. But clearly, as you just mentioned, in the one or two cases that have been highlighted, very clearly a consumer has been charged interest for a period for which the money has not been lent, and very clearly that is not as per even the agreement signed with the same bank. And therefore, this is something that clearly needs to be investigated, primarily not just from this consumer's point of view, which probably can be compensated by this consumer getting paid back, but clearly to see whether this is a systemic issue or it is only a one-off issue.
Okay, so what does that loan agreement between the borrower and the lender say? Does it address such loopholes like overcharging on the first EMI?
The agreement is absolutely clear. The interest has to be paid only for the number of days elapsed. So there is nothing wrong with the agreement. It's clearly in terms of the date being filled that it has been done wrongly. And as I said, and that is the reason it is not possible to know whether it is widespread or it is one-off. But clearly, it is not even as per the agreement signed by the borrower with the bank. It has been done by filling in a wrong date in the schedule.
Okay, so this particular consumer has paid an extra interest of some 64,000 rupees. He approached the bank has denied any wrongdoing. The RBI has said that we don't deal with such cases. It is not under our jurisdiction if you are claiming that it's a systemic practice. This consumer has now approached the Bombay High Court and filed a petition. But not every consumer can approach the civil court. You know, where do such cases go? Where do consumers go for such cases, and how does he recover this money now?
So, see, as far as this consumer is concerned, I believe that the bank told him that they would be willing to compensate. I have not seen any documents, but that is what this consumer said, that the bank was willing to give him his amount. He was not willing to accept it simply because he thought this is, and he says that it is a widespread practice, and he wanted this in writing from the bank, which the bank was not willing to give. This consumer wrote to the regulator RBI. The RBI hasn't written back, but RBI has a long-standing policy. I mean, the entire structure is of solving individual grievances, and there is no real publicly known structure which can look at issues on a systemic basis. I am sure they do that internally, but that is not accessible by the public. So, I think that clearly is a lacuna in the system, whereby the consumers are unable to access any system within the regulator that solves systemic issues rather than individual grievances.
So going forward, what can home loan borrowers keep in mind when signing the loan agreement, or when fixing up the numbers of their principal and their EMI? What should they keep in mind? What's your advice?
So I think as you rightly said, not every consumer can go ahead and file a public interest litigation. At least what he can do is, when the first installment comes, he should check up the interest and principal breakup, and the interest should only be from the period of disbursement till the date of EMI. I think that is the minimum that any home loan consumer should do. He should pay attention to the breakup of the first EMI, because that is where this particular overcharge is clearly occurring.
Okay, but this particular consumer had the patience to actually go through the numbers and calculate that, he was being paid extra. These are the numbers, but, there has to be some kind of a systemic, reform in the banking system, that it's clearly transparent for all home loan seekers.
I completely agree. There should be no need for a consumer to have to check all this, but I think that is the issue with the way I think we have regulations being enforced in India. I mean, there are many regulations which the banks do not follow. Only consumers who are conscious of their rights and take up, only their cases are solved. There are committees within the regulator, in this case the RBI, which agrees that these kind of cases are occurring on a systemic basis, and yet no action seems to be taken. I think there is this huge reluctance by the regulator to impose punitive fines on clear cases of transgression by the bank, and as long as I think banks can get away by just paying off a one-off consumer or maybe a small little fine that does not amount to anything, I think we are going to see more such cases. Clearly, these need to be resolved on a systemic basis, rather than leaving it to the consumer consciousness to solve this problem. While all this is happening, as I said, it is up to the consumer to take care of his interest, but logically it should be the regulator who should be doing it.
Okay, so just very quickly for our viewers, if the RBI does not look at systemic issues in the banking system, if he looks at only individual separate consumer grievances, what are those issues that a consumer can go to the RBI for? What are those cases that the RBI has jurisdiction on?
So, RBI obviously has jurisdiction on a systemic basis. It has chosen not to exercise it. Even this particular consumer has not used the individual grievance because he did not want his individual grievance to be addressed, which the bank was perfectly willing to address it for him. So, RBI has complete jurisdiction. It can do, I mean, it can solve this very quickly. It can investigate. It has all the powers and the resources to be able to investigate this. And I think the impending changes, I mean, the whole regulatory architecture is changing. If you know, the Finance Minister has announced that there will be a common grievance redressal machinery across regulators. I think that is an excellent move, because a common grievance redressal by definition their only job is a grievance redressal, and I am confident that when this machinery is actually set up, it will not only look at individual grievances, but they will make sure that the systemic issues thrown up by those individual grievances will also be taken care of, and I am sure the legislation that permits this centralized grievance machinery will give that power to that central grievance ombudsman, as the case may be.
Okay, so a one-off case, but quite an eye-opening case right there. Mr. Rungta, thank you so much for sharing your inputs.
Thank you.